Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. I'm your host Vikas Srivastav, and today we are in talks with Mr. Sharad Pungalia, the Managing Director and CEO of Amplus Solar. Welcome to BQ Prime, Mr. Pungalia.
Thanks, Vikas.
So, as we are aware that these days solar industry has been facing a lot of tariff and non-tariff barriers. So, what's your take on that, and also what is Amplus's strategy, to tackle this so that we do not miss our targets that we have set up?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right because these tariff barriers and the other barriers, they have been there and frequently there have been ups and downs. So this does impact our business because we don't know what kind of sourcing we have to do and what will be the costing for that. So this has impacted our business and it does impact our cost of procurement and which is kind of make the product offerings difficult for us. But having said that, see, in this industry, one thing, the gestation period is very small for the projects. So even if, let's say, there are these taxes, duties, or any other barriers, the industry has a very quick adaptability rate. We can very quickly adapt to these macro factors and accordingly change our offering. But the issue which we face is the regular changes. So what I would, as a solar developer, I would be comfortable would be a stability in the policy. So if let's say we know that, okay, now going forward, this is the tax regime which I have to follow, or this is the, restrictions which I have to follow, then it will be easy for us. Uh, that's how it is.
Okay. So you also have, apart from your power projects, solar projects, I think you are also planning to diversify into green hydrogen and other. So are you also looking at green ammonia plants? And where exactly are you looking at across?
So as Amplus is focused on C&I space, which is commercial and industrial customer. So while we have been doing rooftop open access projects for our customers, supplying them green power, we also believe the green hydrogen to be a big market for us going forward. But this would be more be the distributed green hydrogen space,
Okay.
where these big manufacturers who have got hydrogen requirement. So similar to the rooftop offerings, what we do, there could be a potential where we can set up electrolyzers within their premises, supply green power from our large utility scale projects to those electrolyzers, and produce hydrogen and supply to those customers on a long-term RESCO model basis. So Amplus would be very keen to explore this segment, and we believe that a lot of traction is to be seen in this market.
Okay, so when you talk about distributed model, so what exactly means? Like you will be sourcing electrolyzers from manufacturers,
Yeah.
and then you will set it up in the premises.
Yes.
For
So it would be more like what we do in rooftop today. So in rooftop, what we do is we follow this called as RESCO model, where I set up solar projects within the premises. Customer gives me space to set up the rooftop project. I operate them and supply power to them. We want to do a similar model for green hydrogen business, where customer would give me space in its premises, give me the requisite water for it. I'll set up electrolyzers there. I'll source power for that particular green hydrogen production, generate green hydrogen and supply to customer. So that would be the model.
And which are the sectors where you see majority of this?
So this is basically for all. Today, if you see, glass is one of the sector where there is a prominent requirement. Fertilizers, even a lot of other sectors like steel and power sectors where they are using flue gases. So all those sectors would also can come up and change their processes and source hydrogen for their operations.
Okay, but what we have seen is that hard to abate sectors, especially steel, refineries, major producers.
Yeah.
So where the requirement of green hydrogen is very high.
Yeah.
Right now they are using gray hydrogen.
Yeah.
So would they also be your potential customers because the size would be huge?
Yeah, there the size would be huge. And plus, what I understand is a lot of these refineries and all, they already have their own plans of setting up large scale projects. So I could be in future, they could also be our clients. But today, what I see in the near future, maybe these small size customers would be our initial targets.
Okay. And what kind of capacity you would be looking at, or what kind of capacity you would like to in the initial phases?
See, at Amplus, like same for our solar also, we never went with the capacity. And today, after, now we are part of Petronas system, Petronas owns us. Funding is not a issue for us. We have been always consistent with our policy of doing good projects where we can do value add for our stakeholders, value add for our financiers, investors, as well as employees. So we continue on that philosophy. We are not restricted by a certain size or capacity. So whatever it comes, maybe a megawatt, 2 megawatt, 5 megawatt kind of projects could be there uh, for the electrolyzer capacity.
So would you be setting up separate power plants for that, solar power plants, to meet this kind of requirement?
So our endeavor is that the power supply for these electrolyzers could come from two sources. One is we would like to harness the local available capacity. So whatever on-site capacity available, so we'll certainly would like to put solar panels in their premises to have the on-site required to meet the part requirement from on-site sources. For balance, we would use our large-scale projects. So our existing projects, we have some projects in pipeline which are ISTS connected, and since they are connected through on the ISTS system, we can supply power to anywhere in the country without paying extra charges and losses. So we'll use them, and if needed, we'll set up new projects for them.
Okay. But what's your current capacity that you're producing, EPC as well as your own assets that you?
So we don't do EPC. So our EPC is only for the residential space. So we have our own brand called as Homescape, where we provide residential solutions. So that is on a capex model where we set up the project and supply the project to customer. But for our all C&I space, it is all on RESCO model. Today, I have a contracted capacity of close to 1300 megawatts.
13.
Yeah.
And this you plan to expand to how much? I mean, the one that you set for yourself.
So the same thing, there is no goal or there is no target. Like when we started this company, we started with 100 kilowatt. That time also 100 kilowatt.
Kilo.
Yeah. So back in 2015, the first contract was 100 kilowatt. So at that time also we didn't have a goal. The goal was to be a company who can add value for all its stakeholders and in a sustainable manner. So the same continues. I don't have a fixed target, but then we believe that on the going basis, we are already at about 1300, 1400 megawatts today. And in the same basis, we keep on going, but without deviating from the core of value add at all levels.
Yeah. And in terms of investments, have you planned something like, how much you plan to invest FY24?
Again, so I have already have an ongoing under construction portfolio of close to about 500 megawatts, which is under construction right now. So which is already under construction. Beyond that, I don't have a set budget or capacity, in mind. But whatever comes, if I get a good opportunity, we'll go and do it.
Like recently, Mr. R.K. Singh said that he is willing to add more fossil fuel based power to the if there is a requirement or there is shortage in the country, to ensure there is no shortage like last year what we have faced. So, and also he said that there will be massive investments that will be planned in the industry. So 2.44 lakh crore is what he said in T&D alone. So apart from that, there will be more in generation and others. So what kind of opportunity you see for Amplus Solar in that till 2030 and green transition that?
Yes. So see, the government is on a very, I would say that Indian government as compared to a lot of other countries, we have had a very balanced approach as far as our sustainability, a journey towards sustainability, right? So we as a country were always balanced. While we had good focus on renewable, but we always realized that fossil fuel is something which will be there and is supposed to be there for some time. Okay. And it is required for a balanced grid. So for that ways, our government plan and schemes have been on the spot. At the same time, the kind of target we have, so we, by 2030, the 500 gigawatt target which the government of India has laid out, and which would require an annual capacity of about 50 gigawatt is huge. And we believe that that itself is a good good kind of market for all the developers. And I believe with that target in the government has, there's enough of opportunities for all of us as developers to participate in this journey.
So battery storage, type of batteries, various kind of batteries, that
Yeah.
technologies that's been worked on.
Yeah.
Would you also like to focus on, say, renewables, battery storage space also going ahead?
So see, battery storage is something which at a point of time, maybe around 3-4 years from now, is something which will be unavoidable. You are absolutely right that earlier we were doing solar. So solar, we were able to meet 20-30% see, because solar could generate about 25-30% CUF. Then we saw that this is creating pressure on the grid, and that's where slowly the policy as well as the developers, they started shifting towards solar wind hybrid. So today at Amplus also we are planning solar wind hybrid projects. Now with a solar wind hybrid project, what I can see is around 50-60% CUF or a 70% CUF at a better size with some optimization I can achieve. Okay, so from 60%, 70%, if you have to go to that RTC number of 80-90%, certainly there would be a storage element required, a support from storage element. Now, the storage could come either from grid banking, which the government provides, because we have a very large grid as a country. We can support banking, our grid can support banking. So, if the grid banking, if let's say tomorrow the grid banking is not there, then yes, we'll have to rely upon on the energy storage systems. Today, at the current pricing, the energy storage, the best is not making commercial viability for project. But maybe with more innovations, more economies of scale, we can see the prices dropping, and it could make sense. And in future, or 3-4 years down the line, maybe for all the open access projects, we could see an element of storage also being.
Yeah. So, in fact, what government offered recently, they tendered a project 1,000 megawatt hour,
Yeah.
which was won by JSW
Yes.
Energy, I think.
Yes.
So he said that the tariffs are in the range of 10 rupees or close to that. So there they are providing the viability gap funding.
Yeah.
So, and they are also planning to come out with another 2 tenders
Yeah.
for aluminum and for this Leon and sodium ion
Yes.
base, I think.
Yeah.
So under PLI scheme.
Yeah.
So would you like to participate in those tenders going ahead, or?
So as a company, Amplus, right now we don't want to get into manufacturing.
Just like to add, I think government is planning to provide viability gap
Yes.
funding for these projects.
Yeah, there was even in budget also we see a lot of impetus was given on that. So as a company, we don't foresee us getting into manufacturing in any in the recent future. We don't have that ambitions as of now. But yes, as far as BACS systems are concerned, we are also exploring them. We already have some couple of small BSS system installed for our C&I customers. And we know that this is a space where all the developers will have to get into. Even in our model, we'll have to get into this space. So we are closely watching for it. We may also have plans to participate in some of these bids in coming future to gain the expertise and experience of best systems.
How do you see, overall outlook for solar? Do you think budget has given enough what was required by the industry?
See, for solar, I would say that there was not much which was there in the budget. While on an overall basis, this is a very good budget, very balanced budget, addressing maybe a lot of key issues in the country, and maybe it will have fruits for longer run. It will bear good fruits for the economy in longer run. But for renewable, I would say that solar, there were solar specific. There were no major policy push or impetus, which rightly so, because solar is now becoming a little bit more matured industry. Okay, so we don't need direct incentives for solar business. But what we as a developer would have expected is maybe some rationalization on the GST front, because today we are incurring huge, we pay huge GSTs on solar, and plus electricity is not GST. There is no GST on electricity, so this is kind of a direct cost on the developers. That is one. And second is, I would also, while there is a lot of impetus on the transmission system, and especially from bringing power from Leh to the rest of country, I would also expect government to focus on building or augmenting the overall transmission system of the country. Because a lot of these renewable powers, when they will come during a time of day, and this could create a lot of pressure on the local grid. And while we have one grid, but still there are bottlenecks at various places, and which requires augmentation. So I would expect government to look into that direction and maybe focus on augmenting the transmission system.
And the other thing, a lot of people were expecting was duty structure, especially this 40% import duty that's
Yeah.
been imposed.
Yeah.
And I think RK Singh recently announced that they will remove this ALMM
Yes.
for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on that? I mean, on the one hand, we already have this duty structure in place. Then removing ALMM, would it still benefit developers?
See, first of all, if we go back and see when government introduced the BCD on the solar modules, imported solar modules, uh, I, the focus was to promote Make in India, okay, and to kind of support the local manufacturing, and which is appreciated. And certainly, we all as Indians, we want our local manufacturing to thrive. But but at the same time, I would believe that we also need to see the practical, what is the practical situation today. We have a target of about 50 gigawatts a year we want to add, but we don't have manufacturing capacity to support that. Okay, this is something which we all know and is a big issue, right? So maybe at this point of time, and restriction like an ALMM etc. is not good for the sector. And this is something which will kind of derail the overall growth trajectory. So the minister's statement is well appreciated, and we are very hopeful that this gets implemented. And we also believe that this is need of the hour, that we cannot have such restrictions when we are on such growth trajectory. On BCD and other things, I think, see, the market, while it increases the cost, but I'm sure the market will accept to this, and it will get factored into our costing. So that is something which I leave the government to decide on what should be the rates and duties.
But where do you source your panels from as of now? Are you still importing from China, or would domestic suppliers are good enough?
So we were importing from China because, as I said, there is not enough capacity available in the domestic market, and plus the prices were also very high. But with now the PLI scheme coming in and all the support, the new capacities which are coming in, I hope the domestic modules will also be available of higher efficiency modules and competitive pricing. So then maybe we'll start sourcing more from India.
So what's been the impact on pricing of panels or for other allied components?
So the post-COVID, I guess any which way there has been a lot of up and down in the pricing of general commodity, freight, insurance. So there have been a lot of factors which have been impacting the project cost for us. Obviously, the BCD, 40% BCD is a straight direct cost impact for us. So this has increased the pricing. We have also seen that there was a point of time when we saw tariffs as low as sub 2 rupees, which have now gone up to 250, 260, even closer to 3 rupees. So that is the kind of impact which is because of a lot of these factors.
So was there any kind of demand from the industry for reducing the basically the price or the duty?
Yes, so we have been as the key player in this segment, and the other players also together with them, we have been raising this issue. We have been asking the government to look at the pricing, because 40% as such is a very high tariff to impose on any product. So yes, there has been a constant demand from the sector to the government for reducing the duty structure.
So you, in your talk, you mentioned that you want to you want to venture into hybrid segment also. So are you also looking separately at wind at some point of time?
Yes. So
a lot of projects are available.
Yes. In the market. So in wind, yes, we are already developing now solar wind hybrid projects. We are also looking at isolated wind projects, which we plan to club with our solar projects and offer them as a combined power to our customers. So currently we are developing solar wind hybrid in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka.
Okay. But separately, individually wind projects also?
So yes, so that also we are looking. So currently we don't have anything in development, but yes, we are looking at few sites.
Yeah. One last question on overall, how do you see the growth in the industry in coming years? As you said, we'll need 50 gigawatt annually. So are we on track? Are we missing it from the track? Where exactly we are positioned? The short to medium term, what's your outlook like?
So see, there is, as far as the opportunity is concerned, it's a huge opportunity. 50 gigawatt a year, what the target government has set, is huge in itself. But yes, because of certain these change in policies, these macroeconomic sectors, etc., the growth has come down or reduced a bit. So we have seen last couple of years the growth has was less than what was expected. But with the recent announcement by the minister and a lot of other things which are happening, the policy front, etc., I believe that maybe another 5 6 months we should be back on track, and we should see the same growth which we had seen earlier.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much sparing time to talk to BQ Prime. We'll
Thanks.
meet once again.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It was lovely interacting with you. Thank you so much. Bye.